Hello everyone and welcome to Deep Learning AI's online event series for NLP learner community. I'm very honored and excited to be your guest speaker today. I'll be speaking for the first 20 minutes and then I'll be answering your questions on Slack the rest of the time. So don't forget to post comments or questions and upvote questions on Slack. I'll be presenting my personal AI journey. Then I'll talk about the NLP Deep Learning AI Specialization at Coursera, and then I'll share with you some recommendations. So let's start presenting. Okay, so welcome to the NLP Learner Community event by Deep Learning AI. Okay, so on the agenda, I'll cover my personal journey and then my experience in deep learning. After that, I'll talk about deep learning AI NLP specialization, and I'll give you some recommendations. And then I'll tell you about how you would start your career path in AI. So let's start by my personal journey. I'm very excited to share with you my journey. My educational background is in mathematics. I studied in Lebanese American University in mathematics and computer science, a bachelor's degree in mathematics and computer science. Also, I studied in the American University of Culture and Education with a bachelor's degree in management information systems. I graduated on 2012. Regarding my learning path, it's like a real life story. I started with AI on 2012 till 2015. I made some AI researches teaching mathematics and reading AI blogs and AI papers. And in 2016, I started to take machine learning courses and accomplished traditional machine learning courses from various platforms. Then in 2017, I started with a deep learning research. It was the kickstart in deep learning, and I started to apply my knowledge to make researches in deep learning with the rise of AI. As you know, between 2016 and 2017, many new deep learning techniques were released by this time. So I started to make some deep learning research, and in 2018, I continued to take machine learning and deep learning courses and accomplished machine learning courses at Coursera. And also I accomplished the deep learning specialization by deep learning AI taught by Andrew NG. In 2019, I continued this amazing journey and also continue taking machine learning and deep learning courses and accomplished more than 30 machine learning courses at Coursera. And I took the AI for Everyone course by Deep Learning AI. In 2020, I continued my journey with Deep Learning AI. I accomplished the TensorFlow and practice specialization. Also, I accomplished the TensorFlow data and deployment specialization to learn how to deploy deep learning models and put them into production. And those specializations are offered by Deep Learning AI on Coursera platform. So regarding my career path, I started in 2016 at Rebaie Analytics Group as a data scientist. I've started to build predictive models by utilizing machine learning techniques. And in 2019, I was promoted to a deep learning researcher, and I've started building end-to-end deep learning services and systems and prototype real applications in deep learning and also deploy those models to put them into production. In 2019, I started my career at Coursera. It was very amazing, and still I'm working with Coursera. I've started as a beta tester at Coursera, reviewing Coursera courses before they are open to the public and give feedback to instructors to optimize some content in the courses. And in 2020, I've started with AI readiness as a community mentor, and I have right now a huge activity in AI communities on deep learning AI, also Coursera, also on AI readiness. So I started as a community mentor at AI readiness, helping enterprises, startups, and individuals adopt to AI transformation. Also, later on in 2020, I started to work at Workera as an alpha tester, reviewing AI questions in machine learning and deep learning and mathematics and data science for tests and data assessments, and give feedback before the data assessments launched on the platform, on Workera AI platform. Also in 2020, I've started my journey as an instructor at Coursera after taking a huge number of courses, after accomplishing a lot of machine learning and deep learning courses. I was selected to work honorably as an instructor at Coursera in creating and delivering AI and data science guided project courses built using Rhyme platform, and I'm still working as an instructor at Coursera. Also in 2020, at the beginning of this year, I started to work as AI ambassador at DeepLearning.AI, managing and hosting local and online Pi and AI events. And I've started to work as a mentor for the deep learning specializations. I'm currently working as a mentor for the NLP Deep Learning AI specialization. And this is just the start. And this journey is like a life cycle. I'll continue my journey with AI, and I will continue growing my career. Okay, so for my experience in deep learning, I started to build neural networks from scratch in computer vision, also in NLP. And computer vision, I've worked with image analysis like convolutional layers and image processing. Also, I'm working with machine vision and created a lot of computer vision applications and amazing deep learning models like object detection, like image classification, also like pose estimation, like age detection and facial recognition, and more. In the NLP field, I've worked with information extraction from texts and documents, and also speech processing, and I built a speech recognition system. Also, I've created and developed various models using different concepts like text pre-processing, like feature extraction from texts, like linear models for sentiment analysis, like spam filtering, for example, and sequence stacking with probabilistic models, and many more. So this is my experience in deep learning, and currently also I'm growing my career and trying to develop more deep learning algorithms. Moving on to deep learning AI NLP specialization. Many learners are asking about, okay, what we will benefit from taking this NLP specialization. What I would like to share with you is that you will benefit a lot from taking this specialization, because after accomplishing this NLP specialization, a learner will be able to apply NLP algorithms in the real world. You can apply NLP as enhancement for grammar checking software like Grammarly, and Grammarly is now being a famous software for grammar checking. It's based on NLP algorithms. Also, we can apply NLP as a better human-computer interface that could convert from a natural language into a computer language, and vice versa. You will be able to implement those techniques after accomplishing this deep learning NLP specialization. Also, for a travel agent to use in making reservations, also we can apply NLP as an add-on for language translation program that could translate from one human language to another, for example, from English to Italian. Also, you'll be able, after accomplishing this NLP specialization, to apply a computer to work with a computer that could understand and process human language. And when we say that a computer understanding a human language, this is an advanced level in AI. And nowadays, NLP is being in a rise because it's working with the communication between people and machines. So after accomplishing this specialization, you will apply NLP algorithms in real world. Also, you can contribute to creating a robot which will communicate with people and like read your sentiment, for example. Also, I'll mention some NLP project ideas that will help you take a step forward in the right direction after you accomplish this NLP specialization, like building a customer support bot on a website or on an online platform, for example. One of the best ideas is to start experimenting hands-on NLP projects for students who are working on customer support bot, and you will see it in many online platforms and various businesses. Another example is creating a language identifier. Have you noticed that Google Chrome, for example, can detect which language in which a web page is written? That's related to NLP also. Also, you can work with a machine learning powered autocomplete feature. With the rise of automated system, you can leverage your learnings in NLP with machine learning and build automated systems. Also, like, for example, the trigger word detection and speech recognition. Also, you can build a predictive text generator, which is one of the interesting NLP projects. So you can apply your NLP algorithms after learning NLP through taking this specialization in real world. You can also build powerful NLP applications. One of these applications is text classification. You will learn how to build a text classifier, and it's to classify the topic or the theme of a document. And for example, like spam filtering, email text is in the emails, a text is spam or not spam. Also language identification, classifying the language of a source text that you may have. So here we are talking about text classification. Another example or application of NLP is language modeling. And language modeling is really a subtask of more interesting NLP problems, specifically those that condition the language model on some other uh, inputs. And here you will predict the next word given the previous words, as you can see on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp. If you are typing a message, you will see that the algorithm is predicting the next word while you are typing a message for someone. Also, one of top NLP applications is speech recognition. As you know, we all heard about speech recognition, which is letting the machine understanding what we are talking and also communicating with us. Also, we have the caption generation, for example, which is a problem of describing the contents of an image, giving, let's say, a digital image, such as a photo. It will generate a textual description of the contents of the image. Moreover, we have a famous example, which is machine translation, as being one of the most in-demand NLP applications, and we have many more NLP applications in the real world. Also, the third point, after accomplishing this NLP specialization, you will be able to build a strong portfolio and apply for jobs. So let's move on to my recommendations for learners who are taking this NLP specialization, also for learners who are taking online courses. Always embrace curiosity and learn new things. As you know, with the rise of AI, you have to stay like up to date to improve your skills and knowledge. Keep learning new concepts in AI and deep learning. The other recommendation is to take online courses by DeepLearning.AI on Coursera. Also, there are many online platforms providing AI courses. Coursera is one of the top platforms, and with Coursera, you can audit any course for free. You can apply for financial aid if you can't afford to pay and earn your certificate for free. Also, feel free to learn any tool or framework. You might find yourself familiar with Python or R or MATLAB. Just learn the tool that you find yourself familiar working with. Don't learn many tools just to save time. Learn the favorite tool you would like to work with. Also, don't just collect certificates. Share your successes and achievements with others, but don't just collect certificates. You also need to really understand what you are learning and put that into practice. Also, read continuously and don't stop reading. Blogs and articles are even very good to understand some concepts that you may not understand while taking online courses. Also, I would like to encourage you to leverage social media, follow and interact with leaders, with experts, with your colleagues, always meet new people. Also, time management is essential. If you want to take a course, manage your time. If you want to read a blog, to read a paper, make a time management. Also, join famous AI communities like Coursera community and Deep Learning AI community. So those are my recommendations. Okay, now if you want to start your career path, I'll just highlight some titles, job titles in NLP after you accomplish this NLP specialization. You can work as NLP data scientist. Also, you can work as NLP engineer. And NLP engineer is responsible for the interaction between everyday human language and computers' ability to process and analyze natural language data. You can work as an NLP researcher to do some researches and develop some existing algorithms and leverage NLP algorithms in real industries. Also, you can work as NLP data analyst, and that NLP data analysts are experienced in NLP and able to work with text analysis and text classification. You can work as NLP expert, having a vast experience in creating and developing NLP algorithms. Also, you can work as NLP lead, which you can lead a data science team in developing NLP algorithms. Okay, so and I would like to share with you some remote work opportunities for NLP engineers. You can apply through LinkedIn to remote work opportunities in NLP. Also, you can apply through simplyhired.com. There are many job opportunities, and they are all, you can find remote work opportunities also through indeed.com and through nuvo.com. Also, you can apply for freelance remote work with NLP on Upwork. Okay, if you want to prepare for the interviews, I've just collect for you top questions asked for interviews. One of them is possible features of a text corpus. You will be able to extract features from any type of text. You will learn it in the NLP specialization. Also, if they ask you to list some NLP use cases, you'll be able to list them after taking this specialization. One question is, what is gated recurrent unit language model? You can answer this question after accomplishing course 3 of this specialization. Also explain transformer architecture. You will take it in the 4th course of this specialization. How you choose your NLP model after taking the assignments of the 4 courses and the specialization. You will be able to answer this question. Explain, for example, permutation language models, dependency parsing, and text summarization. You will be able to answer these questions after taking the courses of this specialization. Also, when we use naive Bayes algorithm in NLP, it's covered in course 1. So as you can see, all the top questions for NLP engineers who are seeking for jobs are covered in this specialization. For NLP best practices, you can practice text classification and some other projects as shown, like sentiment analysis, like building a chatbot, as we mentioned, like machine translation to prepare for interviews. Okay, so that's it for my presentation now. I would like to invite you to post your questions in the August 12 online event channel on Slack in the DeepLearning.AI NLP Slack workplace. So I'll start reading your questions on Slack and answering them right now. Okay. We have a question. Hi, Mo. Just 1 second. We have a question from Sven Chilton. Okay, hi Mo, what can you tell us about upcoming deep learning AI specializations? Several other learners have been asking if deep learning AI will release a computer vision specialization. I personally am more curious about reinforcement learning since I know very little about it. I heard from someone at Facebook. Okay. PyTorch in practice specialization. Is that true? What are your other specializations? Can we look forward to. Okay, Sam, thanks for asking. I'm sure that deep learning AI will definitely create new specializations in deep learning and keep following deep learning AI updates on social media channels to stay up to date with the future announcements. Regarding your question about reinforcement learning, I would recommend you to take the reinforcement learning specialization by University of Alberta on Coursera. For PyTorch in practice specialization, I have no idea about it. Indeed, I'm sure that TensorFlow in practice specialization by deep learning AI covers almost all deep learning concepts with Keras and TensorFlow. Let's take another question. Okay, we have a question from Parth Agrawal. What are the expectations from a data scientist in the industry? Is a data scientist expected to be a full stack developer? Sorry, the question is from Benson Sebastian. Sorry, by mistake, I've mentioned a Parth. This question is by Benson Sebastian. Expectation from a data scientist. I recently started working on data science in the industry, but sometimes get pulled into things like deployment of models. Okay. Okay, this is a great question. A data scientist is expected to support the products, the services, the sales, leadership, and marketing teams with insights gained from analyzing the data and the company and deriving useful solutions. Also, a data scientist uses small and large data sets to find opportunities for product and process optimization using machine learning models to test the effectiveness and performance of a business model, for example. Data scientists must have strong experience using a variety of data mining or data analysis methods and using the available data tools as well, building and implementing models, for example, and creating algorithms and running simulations. They must be comfortable working with a wide range of stakeholders and functional teams. And here I would like to add an important idea: getting a job in a real-world industry is crucial for a data scientist to leverage learnings and skills to derive useful solutions and help in building AI systems. And maybe some requirements in data scientist job are using predictive modeling to increase optimization for customer experiences. Okay, and you have how important Okay, regarding your question about if a data scientist is expected to be full stack developer and data scientist, I don't think it's true because it's possible to learn data science with low code experience, and there are some basic principles of data science that you need to learn before even or without even learning any coding tool, and you can start solving many real world problems without coding. So as a data scientist, your main role is to get insights from data and use this data to find a solution of real world problem. However, being a full stack developer and also a data scientist means you are a senior data scientist who is able to get insights from data and apply knowledge to build powerful algorithms. About ML Ops, they provide data scientists with a collaborative environment with operating experts and professionals, which will help creating a better work environment and working solutions. Okay, now we have a question from Parth Agrawal. How to design assignments and short courses for specific topics related to data science from your experience. As I mentioned in my career path, I'm now creating AI-based project courses at Coursera. The key insight about creating and designing short assignments or courses in the fields related to AI and machine learning is being familiar with to be familiar with practical AI projects. So before thinking of designing projects, you have to take online courses in order to get better knowledge about available tools and frameworks, and also to better know the industry needs and get insights about what type of projects are fruitful and useful to solve real-world problems. Another question from Parth. Do you think adaptive tests based on candidates' performance would help both companies to hire good candidates and job seekers to own skills which they lack? How tough do you think it is to design something like this, or for hiring process automation? I think that data assessments are useful to hire candidates and fill the gap between the skills of a job seeker and industry needs. I think also that psychometric driven tests to test analytical thinking are important and take time and efforts to develop. Indeed, companies have rapid expectations from innovation, and it takes more than just hackathons and AI innovation centers, for example, to drive that. So designing data assessments needs knowledge about what a candidate can really do, and not just designing assessments with impossible expectations. Another question from Barth. What's your thought process while alpha testing courses or products aimed at learning concepts in general? I believe that alpha testing is a great way to have a very clear view of how the course will be delivered in a way that it can serve learners' expectations. Also, alpha testing assists in discovering bugs that could pose a serious threat, so that you can easily fix them before releasing an online course, for example. And this will lead to deliver a high quality course for learners and fill their needs. Okay, we have a question from Matt. Matt is asking, I've asked this before, nobody answered. Will this specialization cover abstractive summarization as opposed to extractive summarization? Point me in the right direction for researching abstractive summarization on my own. So, okay, as you know, abstractive summarization and documents and texts is related to text generation, or generating a headline or a summary consisting of a few sentences or a few pieces of the text that captures the main ideas of this text or document. So this technique reproduces the material in a new way after interpretation of the document. While extractive summarization, as you mentioned, it's a technique which means extracting key phrases from the text and combining them together to make a summary from the particular text, which means you are producing a subset of the sentences mentioned in this text. So this particular NLP specialization, and especially in the fourth course, I think you will get insights about using text summarization techniques. I think in the week 2 of the fourth course, You will learn abstractive text summarization, and you will build a transformer model to summarize text and generate summaries from long articles. For your own research, I think you will find papers with code related to abstractive summarization in papers with code.com, and on archive.com also you'll find useful paper. Okay, we have a question from Wolfgang Spin regarding your mathematical background. I wonder many concepts I encountered in this course are mathematically kind of complicated when going to the details, example PCA, but again, one does not really need to understand the details in order to apply these concepts, as there are popular libraries taking care for you. Can you tell a bit about how much it helps you with NLP to work, to have mathematical education? It's a good question. Based on my experience, I can say that mathematics is the base of machine learning and data science. In case you want to go further with the machine learning and deep learning, like reading complex papers, like creating new machine learning algorithms, or either developing existing algorithms, because they are based on heavy mathematics. But in order to develop an algorithm, you have to be familiar with mathematics. However, if you just want to learn how to implement, let's say, machine learning projects, you just have to learn some basics in mathematics like linear algebra, like calculus, and probability and statistics in order to understand how machine learning algorithms work. And you will find ready packages and libraries for you. For example, in Python, the NumPy library handles all mathematical computations for you. I would highly recommend you to take the mathematics for machine learning specialization by, I think, Imperial College on Coursera. So you will learn all the needed math for your machine learning projects. Also, learning mathematics is important. Like, I just want to give you one example. You'll be able to select the right algorithm, which includes giving considerations to accuracy, training time, and model complexity, for example. We have a question from Craig Mansager. Reviewing is something we should do on our own, but often gets neglected. In a university course, the final exam forces in-depth review. What are your thoughts to adding a final exam to each course? Okay, well, I think including one practical assignment at the end of each week is a great way to track your performance and to review the learned concepts. And I think designing a programming assignment for each week is similar to a final exam, because you might learn different concepts in each particular week of a course. We have a question from Sachin Gopalwani asking, how did you decide to start at Rebaie Analytics Group and what problems did you face? Nice question. Working at Rebaie Group was my kickstart in my AI career. Actually, I decided to practice what I'm learning to broaden my knowledge and showcase my experience and also develop my skills. And I find it pretty cool to know the industry needs, and I was happy to apply my knowledge in data science to derive real solutions, serving the business needs and keep up to date in the field. And I had a big concern was explaining technical concepts to non-technical audiences. But after some time, I started to tell stories about data in a simpler way so that non-technical teams can easily understand what I'm exactly doing. We have a question from Manmohan Krishna. What would you suggest for Kaggle, TensorFlow, or PyTorch, Fast AI, or some other framework? Okay, I think it's a popular question. I will answer this question in general because it's not just related to Kaggle projects. Uh, in my opinion, I believe that you can learn and use any deep learning framework or tool, just learn the tool that you find yourself more familiar with. And I think both TensorFlow and PyTorch are very powerful to build very deep neural networks. It's always a lot of work to learn and be comfortable with a new framework for this reason. If you are working with whether TensorFlow or PyTorch, just continue working with the framework you have learned to work with. Personally, I learned TensorFlow and PyTorch, and I'm currently using TensorFlow in my own projects. We have a question from Mo. Mo is asking, what is the general thought process when constructing a neural network or a deep learning model? When I have looked or read papers and tutorials that present their own deep learning model, I rarely find an explanation as to why that particular architecture setup was chosen. Well, I like this type of questions because it's related to my field of research. I think the general uh, while in general, while you decide to construct a neural network, think about how much data you have and draw like a simple architecture mapping from your input uh, to your desired output. If you draw this sketch, this will help you choosing how approximately hidden layers, for example, you need to apply for this task or to choose for this task and what activation functions you should use. Also, if you want to design your own neural network, think about the goal of your project and what types of neural networks are available to apply. For example, if I want to build an image classifier, then you are going to use a convolutional neural network. After this step, explore different architectures of available neural networks for your specific task, let's say in computer vision, and see, for example, if you have to use the ImageNet or AlexNet or maybe a DeepResNet. And if you are currently reading deep learning papers, I would recommend you to start reading simple papers and then move on to read more complex papers. Okay, we have a question from Sujai Rokadi. Hi Mo, thrilled to be a part of this event. Thank you for joining us. How would you suggest an undergraduate student build a career in machine learning? I only know of Coursera to help me, and I'm very clueless about what else I could do, as it would seem that machine learning jobs always require a few years of experience. Okay, so Jai, I would like to tell you that not all machine learning jobs require a few years of experience. You can take a few online courses on Coursera. I would recommend you to take a machine learning course by Andrew Ng. It's still being the top machine learning course. You can just watch video lectures or take any machine learning specialization at Coursera to start with machine learning. Then you can take applicable or learn applicable deep learning by taking the deep learning specialization, the TensorFlow and practice specialization at Coursera. There are a lot of machine learning and deep learning courses you can take on Coursera. These online courses on Coursera will let you build a strong portfolio to apply for jobs, and there are many jobs which don't need or don't require years of experience, but you should share your projects, for example, on GitHub. If you do the courses, after accomplishing the courses, share your certificates with AI fellows. Also, build your portfolio and strengthen your GitHub profile. Create repositories and put your projects on GitHub and share your projects with others. Uh, Try to share your projects with all AI fellows to get well known and gain reputation. And you can then apply for jobs. But don't just rely on applying for jobs, because as an undergraduate student to build a career in machine learning or deep learning, you can start step by step, and by time you will find AI is an amazing journey. By time after, let's say, 6 months or 1 year, you will find you have a lot of experience and you can easily apply for any job in machine learning and AI. We have a question from Happy Sugar Life. Hey Mo, will deep learning AI include PyTorch and NLP or future courses? Please stay tuned and follow Deep Learning AI on social media channels to know what's next by Deep Learning AI. I have no idea about PyTorch and NLP, but also I would suggest for you to learn either PyTorch or TensorFlow. They are same. You can take the TensorFlow and practice specialization by Deep Learning AI on Coursera. Okay, Sven is mentioning that I gave you good recommendation. Thank you, Sven. Okay, Chetan Bajaj asking, thanks for your recommendation. You are welcome. Can you please suggest some of blog resources for machine learning in general and specific to NLP as well? Okay, I would recommend you to try out Feedly, which is an amazing application to put all websites and resources to read blogs about AI. On Feedly application, it's easy to use. You can download Feedly, and I'm doing it. I'm having this application on my smartphone. On Feedly, you can categorize the topics you want to read about. Like, you can create a folder about AI, a folder about deep learning, another one about data science, another one about NLP, and you can add the websites which are publishing blogs about a certain field or area in AI. So you can uh, put the links for websites publishing topics about NLP in the NLP folder on Feedly. So try out Feedly, it's amazing. And about the blog resources, you can find amazing blogs on LinkedIn, shared by others. Also on Medium, you can find blogs on Wired, on many websites like KD Nuggets. There are many online platforms and websites providing amazing blogs and publishing AI blogs so that you can keep up to date. Okay, Mo is asking another question leading off Chetan's question. Which people in particular would you recommend to follow? I would recommend you to follow AI pioneers who are interacting with people and helping people kickstart their journey in AI, like Andrew Ng, like Kian Katanfurush, like other AI pioneers. There are many AI pioneers who are helping people adapt to AI transformation. Okay. Dave Anderson is asking, applied constant. Are you aware of any open source projects that are applying these techniques to search techniques covered by NLP? By this NLP specialization, you can read papers with code on GitHub, also on archive. Question from Rohan Saxena. Will you please suggest me some good resource to dig deeper into mathematics aspects of deep learning and basically AI? Okay, I answered a similar question regarding mathematics needed for AI. You can take the mathematics for machine learning specialization at Coursera. And Luis Ayala also has a question. I will read your question. In NLP, the use of tracks increase performance, and some factors about usage focus more on insights more than the code. What's your opinion about those both frameworks, PyTorch and tracks? Same as I answered about TensorFlow and PyTorch. Just concentrate on understanding the theory behind concepts you learn through taking any online course. Tools are just tools to implement your work and to showcase your skills. So you can learn any tool, you can work with any tool, you can use any tool to implement your projects. Just understand what you are learning, and that will be fine. Okay, so the last question is by Rohan Saxena. Is experience the only way to develop intuition for right way to approach the AI problems? No, not only experience, also passion. You should be passionate and interested to continue your journey in the AI field. Okay. It was very nice to have you in this meeting. I was very happy to share with you my experience. We are now done with this online event. And for the question that I haven't answered, I will follow up on chats and the events channel. And thanks for watching, and see you in the upcoming deep learning AI projects. Thank you all. Please stay safe and see you. Bye bye.